Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Yuma Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Rebecca Kay, and I am so glad that you could join me this morning for my daily spiritual practice. In the middle of the week, I like to offer you some points to ponder, some points that will help you to realign to your true self. So this morning, I'd like to share a reading with you from Bob Joff's book, Walk in Grace, Live in Grace, Walk in Love. And our thought for this morning is, what is your mirror reflecting back to you? Bob entitled his reading, Stand in Front of the Mirror That Reflects God Back to You. When my kids were younger, we loved going to the pop-up carnivals that would come through town. One day there's a field or an empty parking lot, and the next day there's a Ferris wheel, a tilt-a-whirl, really unhealthy food, and a forest of games. My sons, Adam and Richard, always darted to the most life-threatening roller coaster. My daughter, Lindsay, was in for the games with the massive stuffed animals that I'd end up strapping to the top of the car. I was always stopping by the person who was guessing my weight to get the truth of things. Maria just liked to watch all of us with a heart filled with joy. One thing we all loved was the House of Mirrors. Before we sprinted to our favorite spots, we'd all go through together, giggling that Dad was 9 feet tall, that Mom's feet looked like skis, and that Richard's muscles made him look totally ripped. We had fun with the momentary transformations. But what would happen if we lived every day in front of a fun house mirror? Would we start to believe we could bench press 500 pounds even if our arms were as skinny as ski poles? Would we be tricked into thinking we could dunk a basketball even if we were just 4 feet tall? Well, it's fun to imagine yourself differently. Don't get trapped into a life of thinking you need to be different. God says you were wonderfully made. He doesn't want us to be a better version of us. He wants us to be a more accurate reflection of Him. God wants you to stand in front of a mirror that reflects a life like His. What parts of you do you think God likes? In Science of Mind teaching, we always say there's one life. That life is God's life. That life is my life now. And I believe we're talking about the spark that's in our heart, that spark of the divine, and how bright is it shining right now in your life. And so I ask you, as we go into our meditation this morning, to please ponder with me, what is your mirror reflecting back to you? Is it God's life? And what are you doing with God's life? So I invite you to just gently close your eyes and take a deep breath in. Just let it out with a sigh. Just feel how good it feels to just sit here in the silence, to allow yourself to connect to that God within. to look at your life and what areas your God is shining brightly. The places where you are truly of service, where you are a blessing, where you are serving in compassion and love. Just call back into your heart all that love you've sent out into the world and let it heal you. I invite you right here, right now, to step into high consciousness with me. That place where we prepare our minds for the best that life has to offer. That place where we truly are one with God. And we know that what our mirror is reflecting back to us is the life that God is present and showing and uplifting and blessing and filling us so that we can fill others. Now I invite you to just let the silence take you deeper. What is your mirror reflecting back to you? Is it reflecting a God-filled life? What is your mirror reflecting back to you? Is it reflecting a God-filled life? What is your mirror reflecting back to you? Is it reflecting a God-filled life? What is your mirror reflecting back to you? Is it reflecting a God-filled life? There is one life. That life is God's life. That life is my life now. There is one life. That life is God's life. That life is my life now. And that life is what the mirror is reflecting back to me. And so, as our journey comes to a close, we send great thanks to the universe for this opportunity to come together in deep connection, to expand our connection to the divine, to declare, to truly allow God to fill us as we say, there is one life. That life is God's life. That life is my life now. And that's what my mirror is reflecting back to me. I thank you for starting your day with a daily spiritual practice. I thank you for joining me. I'll be back on Friday with our word for the week. I declare this to be a blessed day. I send you much love and many blessings. And I thank you for joining me. I'm Reverend Rebecca Kay, here at the Yuma Center for Spiritual Living. Have a great day, everyone.